This podcast was produced on the land of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation.
Welcome to Australia.
Aussie.
This is kind of tragic.
Someone who is such a connoisseur of reality television.
The content is hideous.
So sorry about this. Oh my God.
Welcome back to The Cringe is Real, the podcast that cringes along with Australian reality TV and pop culture at large. I'm Sam Cremian, and after the lackluster finale of FBoy Island Australia, I'm doubling down with two star-studded guests this week on the pod. In part 2, I'm joined by the most faithful of the faithful, my bisexual bestie, Annabel Fidler. If you missed part 1 with Real Housewife of Sydney, Kate Adams, go back and find it in your feed. Season 2 of FBoy Island Australia is done, but you can relive it all now on Binge. Annabel Fidler, welcome back to The Cringe is Real.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited to be here. What a season.
What the fuck just happened?
I don't know. I'm still processing it. Like, I saw the internet outrage over the finale before I watched the finale, and I was still like, what just happened?
So I literally watched it like just as it came out because I needed to take it all in without being swayed by the masses, because it is very easy to do. But then, of course, I spent like the next 2 days like online just basking in all of the hatred. Oh, it's delicious.
I'm so chronically online. I have not stopped being online. I need to read everything. I need to see every article that's come out about it.
Oh yeah, I saw you were on the Reddit thread because I was there spruiking this podcast, and you were there being like, "That's a great pod." And I was like, "Oh, who's that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's Annabel. Stunning."
It was me, double spruiking the podcast.
Knowing all full well you were about to be on.
It's a really good one. Like, I was overseas last week, and so couldn't watch the episodes live. And I'm like, it's so fine because Sam's funny.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Who even needs to watch?
Yeah.
I do have people that tell me, they're like, I don't watch any of the shows you talk about, but go off.
Yeah.
Love hearing you complain about them. I'm like, I got you.
Yes.
Before we hop into FBoy though, are you up to date with the Traitors Canada?
Oh boy, am I up to date with the Traitors
So
Canada?
we need to talk about Big Blur Energy, Chris.
This
friend of the pod.
A friend of the pod, Big Blur Chris. The controversy.
Obsessed.
I didn't think obsessively talking about a man's penis in a public forum could pop off the way it did.
He loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't want that?
So I do need to issue multiple public apologies to, I believe her name is Marilyn, Facebook mum Marilyn, who I found in a Facebook group.
Yeah.
Letting the audience know that Chris of Traitors Canada and Naked and Afraid XL.
XL is the only Naked and Afraid I will accept.
Yeah, made specifically for Chris. that he has an enormous blur, right? So
Big Blur Energy.
Anyway, I unfortunately
Yeah.
referred to her as elderly, I believe. And I didn't look.
Whoops.
Marilyn, I didn't click on your photo, okay? It's just a little bit like the camera adds £5. Facebook adds 30 years.
It does. Yeah.
You're active in a Facebook
It's
group.
exclusively for aunties and uncles, I believe.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was the intel that I had. Big Blur Chris.
Mm-hmm.
However, Chris has gone to lengths to dispel this myth.
Who would want to dispel this myth?
I don't know. Anyway, it's kind of now got to the stage, I think, where pics or it didn't happen.
Totally. Oh, look, like he's been in my DMs about it.
Yeah.
And I'm confused as to whether or not we're flirting or not. Because Chris, if you're listening, I definitely am.
Yeah. I would like to clarify, when we are in my DMs talking about your penis, I am flirting.
I'm really into it. But yeah, no, I used to be so into Naked and Afraid. I have this friend that loves it. We used to do like watch parties because it is outrageous.
Yes.
And it's like, there's this breed of like alpha male American guy on that show that doesn't exist on any other show. Like Alone, whatever. This is like, you've seen it, right? They're crazy
They are nuts.
people.
Yeah.
And I do kind of miss, because I've fallen off because they made too much of it and it got overwhelming and I tapped out.
Yeah.
No pun intended. But I I do miss it. So maybe I will pop back in, especially if Chris is involved.
I am watching all 3 episodes of Chris. Naked and Afraid 1, Naked and Afraid 2, Naked and Afraid XL. I need to get it Blur
We should be the
Intel.
Chris Network.
Yeah, we can. And Chris, if you do need to send evidence at Chili Philly, would love to receive.
Yeah. You can just, we'll share it around. Sharing is caring. But Traitors Canada, like, I want to love it, but I hate that it just is like 1 episode a week. That's not enough.
Yeah.
Because you got to wait for the fucking murders, and it's like, and by the time a week's gone by, I'm like, who's Pac-Man? What?
And it's not like not enough in the
Kira?
US. At least there's always a murder and a banishment. The Canada loves blue ballsing you. Like I'm telling you right now, episode 1
Do
is
they ever?
not going to be the only episode where nothing happens. There are a lot of Traitors Canada haters out there. It is one of the lesser popular franchises. I'm personally an apologist.
Oh, like I'm not a hater. I'm just like I'm saying I love it. Therefore, give it to me now.
Give me
Maybe
more.
I should just like hold off. I'll edge.
Yeah, it's a season to be edging.
I'll just edge, and then I'll just like one day watch all of it.
Yeah, and let's be real. The Traitors UK guys aren't going to be in your DMs telling you about their dick. And that's
And
what
do you know what?
makes
I'm
Canada
okay
better.
about that.
No one wants poppycock, I'm telling you.
No. And are you watching The Anonymous?
I am not. I see it online all the time,
Yeah.
and I can't find out how to watch it, so tell me what's
yeah,
going on.
so it's a weird one. I only got into it because I found myself with a weekend up in Sydney last weekend, and it was like torrential rain. And I was like, oh, well, there goes all my beach plans. So whacked it on. And yeah, look, I mean, I didn't realize that Nina from Australian Survivor, fucking daughter of Sandra, the legend, the icon, we live for Nina. I didn't realize she was on it. So then I was like, okay, I'm in. And the Fire Festival guy is on it.
No,
the
not
one that like
the
gave the
Evian guy?
Yeah, he's on it, and he's fabulous.
I love him.
So it's really good casting, but this format, I'm not gonna lie, it like takes a little while to get into. It's very The Circle.
Okay.
Like watching people type in a chat, not great television. And the gameplay, part of it, sure, it's good, I guess, but like it's not grabbing me.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is it's not amazing, but who cares because he sucked cock for Evian
Yeah,
guys on it, and need
Nina's
him.
there.
Yeah.
And the best thing about Nina being there is because she's famous here, but not in America. She's there and she's like, I'm not going to tell anyone that I've played Australian Survivor twice. And I'm like, yes, bitch. I'm there like at home being like, we know. And then like only one person knows. And he's like trying to spread it. He's like, that's Sandra's daughter. And they're like, who? It's like, that's funny.
I love that. Being famous in Australia, like the new I'm famous in Japan.
Big in Japan. Yeah. She's like, I promise I've been on heaps of shows, but all in Australia. Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay, I'll tell you what you do have to watch if you love cooked stuff. It's called
I'm listening.
The Influencer.
Oh, bitch.
Oh.
I've only just started. I'm like 5 minutes in and I had to stop because I was like, I need to sit down. This is the Korean one, right?
Yes.
With the neck bracelets.
Yes. Oh.
Tell me everything.
Okay, it's so good. So it's Korean. They've basically got loads, maybe like 100 or something of the top influencers in Korea. And they make them do dehumanizing things for like likes, only they make them do it on like their real Instagram profiles and things like that, where they've got to beg for attention basically, and it's kind of depraved.
Korea is the future. Like literally, we will actually be living in this way.
Yes.
In like 10 years time.
It's so, but you don't almost, and this is horrible to say, but like you almost don't feel bad for them because there's such a collective cultural hate of influencers.
Of course not. And they've like, you know, it's a mutually beneficial relationship between them and the show. It's like how Australian reality TV casts a lot of TikTokers now.
Yes.
Which like to varying degrees of success, I feel. Sometimes it works and sometimes it's like, oh no.
Well, this is what the influencer really highlighted for me. And actually I was talking about this in relation to Traitors Canada. It really highlights how being a short form content creator like being on TikTok doesn't translate well to television or actually being funny or entertaining in person.
I'm looking at you, Nathan, from
Yeah.
this exact show.
Yeah. Nathan.
Oh,
Yeah. You can do a silly little dance, honey, but
yeah.
he had expectations to live up to.
Yeah. Poor thing. I keep getting more Nathan pics sent to me because he just like works at Northland and like, yeah.
So, okay,
the
but
gays are like out there like harvesting tea for me like he should have been doing in the villa.
Okay, so I got that intel from this podcast, but then one of my friends connected with him on Grindr in Paran, so I think he's a Paran gay.
So maybe she's like living both sides of the river life.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
It's kind of wild.
Oh,
though.
I want more tea on this. I mean, I thought it would be only a matter of time before he appeared in my grid.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, do we need to hang out at Northland and on Paran all day until we get a ping?
I do not condone the stalking of Nathan.
No. And with that hair.
Oh, babe. She's still got it too.
She does.
So let's get into this absolute train wreck of a finale. Firstly, we need to talk about something that did not appear in the finale, but did appear in the promo for the finale. Did you cock this?
Yes.
Friend of the pod, Paul Mitzi, was furious, and he's like, "You have to talk about it on the pod." So here I am, Paul.
This was
Abby
wild.
Chatfield getting up and being like, telling one of the boys to sit down.
Yeah. and
That did not happen.
Joe was popping off.
Yeah.
And so I did a little bit of sleuthing into this.
on.
So on Abby Chatfield's Instagram, she responds to somebody asking about it. And apparently the guys were being very main character at the mansplain and were all fighting for screen time and who could say the most outrageous thing. And it was just dragging on and on and on all
Yeah,
night.
see, I heard they were restless for a long day of shooting, and then they were like just like literally just like being like schoolboys in a classroom.
Yes.
And then Abby had to be like, sit down. But I'm like, could you not have cut that into the show? I don't know. This after the blackboard gaggery, I'm like this close to fucking like, yeah.
You didn't, and also like you kind of didn't need to blue balls me with that because I was already gagging to watch the finale anyway.
Exactly. Anyway.
But they love to toy with our emotions.
So, of course, it starts with like a super dramatic intro. And I was like shaking at this point. We get the FBoy funeral at Limbro, which I was like waiting for there to be. I was waiting for there to be protein powder somewhere involved. There wasn't.
It was very odd.
It was weird. And then the mansplain starts. Abby tells us the mansplain is the spiciest event of the FBoy calendar. To which I said, was it though?
No, the mansplain is usually my favorite
Yeah.
part. Okay, props to this finale.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of the best FBoy finales I've seen, and I've seen a lot, because it didn't have really long, dragged-out final dates, which we usually get.
Well, thank fuck for that.
There's usually a whole episode of final
Of them like on a
dates.
boat,
Yeah.
like drinking champagne, and you're just like, yeah, we get
Don't
it.
care.
Yeah.
But I do think this is one of the worst mansplains. Like, nothing really came out that we didn't already know.
Yeah. I mean, they tried. Some people tried.
Yeah.
Some stuff, but particularly for poor old Vincent, it was like, what are you doing, mate? Anyway.
Oh my God, when Vincent's like,
Yeah.
so I was working out and I was talking about how ugly
I
and
was just
unfuckable you are.
talking about these hideous moles that they cast on this show that I would never put my dick anywhere near. I was like, excuse me? And Doug said, yeah. Which is incriminating. I was like, honey. Before the mansplain though, Sean tells us that he wishes he had a whippersnipper so he could cut down the grass and expose all the snakes. And I'm like, okay, Sean, settle down. And then we get a confessional with Ali and she goes, look, I may have been a little tunnel vision on Joe.
Ali and Joe. Okay, we always get the woman that everyone kind of just wants to slap back into reality. We always get the guy who's unbelievably toxic, lest we forget leading cause of injury from women, age 15 to 44. Men, it's these men. And
Yeah.
and he's there. And Ali, I think Ali has been the most outrageous version of this woman tunnel vision on the worst man there.
I just realised, like, she's giving Blake Lively.
Yeah. Stop it.
It ends with us, Annabelle.
Oh my gosh.
And it ends with Joe.
Oh my gosh.
Hopefully.
This pair, and just, okay, I died so many times. Wes leaving, Nugget leaving.
The truth. I think, which one was it? Wes was like a little bit mean. Nugget was perfect. He was just like, bye. Wes was like a little bit with the, I hope you get F-boyed. But then I was like, yeah, I was actually thinking that too, though.
It was mean, but we were all thinking it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the precursor to all is, don't forget, that was spoiled for us because weeks ago, Vernon, F-boy Vernon from season 1 was like, this woman, people quit this season. They hated her so much. And he wasn't wrong. He was
right. Wow. Oh, Vernon. So we start with Nicole's men, and Jack is first in the hot seat. Little vanilla baby Jack. He, of course, gets some flack from Sean. Yeah. Because they're like kind of bros, but kind of rivals at this point. I still think they just need to absolutely fuck.
It's the boost to their personalities they both need. I mean, I know you've been thirsting for Sean. It's really
not your thing.
It's not there for me at all.
Really? I mean, after this episode, like, no, there's no vibe for me at all. But throughout the season, just physically.
Yeah, I
was
don't
down.
know. I think for me, a lot of the ones I was more attracted to went early.
Oh, like who?
And Aaron. I thought Aaron was really hot.
Oh my God. And at the finale, so he was there but didn't say anything. But I was looking at him and I was like, fuck, who's that? And I was like, oh, that's right. Aaron is hot.
Remember Crystal's
that
bestie?
rig?
And then Ali got rid of him. Or I actually think it was Nicole.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. That's right.
And then I knew...
the one that Crystal may or may not have sucked off.
And then I knew our king was a queen the moment he walked in. Because I was like, you're the hottest one here in my eyes. I'm like, you must be gay.
Yeah. Look, I've been hanging shit off Nathan this season, but seriously, mate, like, hit me up.
Yeah.
So Sean, he's like, he's been a game player from the start, blah, blah, blah. He's an F-boy. And then Frank kind of appears out of nowhere. And so this whole thing is like, I was an F-boy and I told Jack and he should have told you. No. So dumb. Like, if that's all you've got.
Yeah, Frank really disappointed me. I mean, I thought when we saw him in episode 1, he's coming out the gate. He's like, yeah, I'm an F-boy and I'm here to F. I thought, okay, is this going to be Caleb 2.0? Then it's revealed he's a short king. And we're like, okay, it's not going to be Caleb 2.0. Let's be real.
Yeah.
And then we just never saw him again.
I know, which I was devo about. Because I thought he was a great character.
Yeah, he was fun. Yeah. Especially because so many of these guys who got down to the end are so devoid of personality. Like Joe, nothing. You know, vanilla ice cream, frankly, is too flavorful for... Can't even remember his name now.
Jack.
Like Jack, there you go.
True.
Like nothing.
Jack does not handle this interrogation very well.
No.
He's like... And he's like chin... because he's got quite the chin, really starts to sort of wobble in like overdrive, which I did enjoy. But then also I was like, whatever. And then Nicole gets up and like rushes over to Sean. This whole like running after Sean thing that she seems to do. I'm like, just let him go, babe.
I know.
Like, seriously, let him go back to Newcastle or wherever. I know he's a Perth boy. That's right. Let him go back to Perth. She's so pissed that she eliminated him, but it wasn't quite like a Molly and Nick situation. Like she wasn't actually gonna give it a chance.
I mean, like I think at that point she was just kind of breadcrumbing him.
Yeah. Nathan's up next, and Wes leads the charge with a "Put your hands up if you think that Nathan is here for clout." Put your hands up if Nathan is here for followers. It's like, yes.
Oh, this was so good because all the men were so mad at Nathan, because he's clearly there for the wrong reasons. Why does Nicole keep him around?
Yeah. No one clocked it, which I was shocked by.
Wild. This is how emotionally and socially unaware straight men are.
Yeah. I love Jerome being like, oh, my Godard was off.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Okay,
mate.
Jerome. Okay. Shush.
Wasn't off when you were on that footy trip. Just saying.
And so everyone's just laying into him, maybe thinking he has a serious shot at this. And Nathan and Nicole are just sitting there like, gags.
Yeah, they're like, But still, like, he could have been so much more villainous and, like, camp.
He was a disappointment.
I think he's got that, like, wog bro energy from the Burbs, where he kind of wants to, like, live his mask fantasy, which, like, I get that. I respect that. But for me,
we needed somebody. I mean, I loved this twist. The undercover homosexual.
It was great.
Great. But we did need...
Have they done that before on another one?
I've never seen that
Oh,
before.
amazing. Okay.
And we needed someone who could reasonably blend in because we want to slightly con the women at first. We need the men to not cotton on. But as you say, we then needed somebody who was prepared to actually do some digging, serve some tea, like ham it up for the cameras. And I
wanted, like, measurements of all the guys.
Yes.
In the black book. I would have taken Crystal's black book and just,
Come on, next time, get us a YouTuber. Because TikTok, like this man, he didn't have what it takes.
Yeah. Crystal's men are next. Patty is first. Thoughts on Patty? Because I know he repulsed a lot of people. I was kind of like,
I was repulsed by both him and Doug.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you're not like a Doug girly, because fuck me.
No, I think I was less repulsed by Patty than Doug, actually. With Doug, I was like, I don't think it was good for him to be on the show.
I still think, to a certain degree, Doug was performing.
I hope he was performing.
I really hope, for all of our sakes.
Yeah. If he was not performing, don't get me wrong, 3 diagnoses over here. Yeah. If you're not at a minimum on antidepressants, you're not going to get on one of these shows. But
amazing.
Like Doug, if he's genuinely falling in love with a woman he's been on 3 dates with after a week and can't process information.
And the third person being like, nah.
The receding hairline with the weird little clipped fringe.
Dougie.
No.
Yeah.
So, sorry. Got carried away with
Not
Doug.
for me.
No, definitely not for me. I never thought she was picking Doug. I always felt like she was kind of condescending to Doug.
I thought she was going to maybe pick him. But then last week when he was like, I'm falling in love with you, and her response was, hugs, not kisses, hugs. I was like, she's not into you, mate.
No, I think he gave her the ick.
And the suffocation.
Patty, this is the problem with Crystal. And I said this week 1 when she's talking about mid guys. I'm like, the problem with men is they're all gross. So, I'm talking about our straight cis guys you get on FBoy Island here. Even the
Don't
nice
worry,
guys.
none of them are listening to this.
No, none of them are listening to this. Like, you see this with Joe. Even the self-proclaimed nice guys are going to be the absolute worst human beings. So at least pick a hot one. Like, at least pick one that you're, like, desperate to fuck. Because otherwise you end up like Crystal, who's fucking this old man with, like, the worst hair for men dye job I've ever seen in my life and getting cheated on post-show by this, like, wrinkle dick. I can't, Sam.
You can go ahead and drop that mic now, because that was the show. Thank you for joining us this week. I've been fucking everything that you just said.
I was
Pick a hot one. That's the whole point of this show, is you get the candy store experience.
And she's so hot and she's so smart and he's just not. I'm like, why did we even include the Caleb storyline? I saw a really good conspiracy theory on Reddit.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was so ready. Sorry, I can't credit whoever came up with this one, but I was so ready to jump on this and believe this, that the conspiracy was her and Caleb were together pre-show, and that this whole thing was like a big setup so that at
It's
the
their
end,
kink.
Yeah.
It was a role
She
play.
was cucking him the whole time, and he was super horny for it. And at the end, she's gonna be like, "I choose Caleb." And then when she like got rid of Doug, I was like, "Yeah, that makes sense." And then I'm like, "Oh no, she's actually hooking up with Patty. What?"
Yeah, I had convinced myself that she was definitely picking Caleb for the gag. And then when we saw the promo for the finale, I was like, oh, that gag's going to be Caleb emerging from the bar and like ripping off the polo, and underneath is like, you know, a tuxedo. And he's like ready, and then whisks her off of it. Like, that would have been hilarious.
So good. Why was he even there? Like, they didn't even fuck. So at this point, I'm
Did
like,
they? I thought they did.
I don't
No.
know. She had him in the bedroom.
They
and,
had
like,
a moment. They could have fucked.
I think we'd have got the noises.
Yeah.
They love to give the noises. So now I'm just angry at that whole storyline.
Yeah. Oh, well. Well,
Anyway.
she picked the Loch Ness Monster.
Bring
so.
Caleb back next. Bring Caleb back every season.
Honestly, fucking do it. Make him like pretty much like Abby's like sidekick.
Yeah.
Whipping boy. I would die. Hattie gets in trouble for flirting with the social media girl. And I died because I'm picturing her name's like Amber or like Rochelle. And she's like totally does social media for binge. And she's there on set and she's cute. And Patty wants a slice. I can see it.
Me too. And can you imagine being her and she's getting to interview all of these really hot guys, and yet she's being sexually harassed by Patty?
I love it.
Oh.
Like, because on this pod we have a theoretical character of just the gay intern at Channel 10.
Yes.
Who sometimes does the episode titles and sometimes forgets. And now we've also got like Amber from
Yes.
social media at binge. I feel like these two, like, they know each other.
Oh, they hang out in the Sydney northern suburbs all the
Yes,
time.
they drink spicy mugs.
Yes.
And they talk about Made in Bondi. Oh my God.
I love Amber.
Oh, she's so good. Doug is next, and straight away Vincent puts up his hand, and this is when we get the aforementioned, these chicks are hideous, and Doug agreed. Sorry?
Doug's like, I'm sorry, you used complete sentences and I didn't understand what was going on. And
Just like, don't implicate yourself in any of this, because we all forgot about you, mate. You were about to get away with a normal life outside of this show, but nuh-uh, not now.
I know, though, wasn't another one of them, was it from season 1 or this season where it's come out another one of the F-boys has been like done with stalking charges? And it wasn't Vincent, but it was one who looked kind of similar to him. And I
my
feel like
God.
after this,
I'm still waiting for evidence that Lewis was working on a comedy show.
oh God, speaking of people who gave me the major ick.
Like, beyond.
Oh,
But I still want to see this show.
I don't. I really don't. And like,
I'll
honestly,
take someone else.
God must be real because Crystal didn't hook up with him and he was just cringe enough to make it.
So Doug profusely denies these accusations, but he does go bright red. But then I'm also like, he's kind of just always just different shades of red.
He's just got that little toddler face as well with the toddler haircut.
He does. Oh, God. Anyway, Ali's guys are next. And of course we start with Chad. Chad is looking rough.
Yeah, Chad.
At this moment, I'm not going to lie, I was a bit like, oof.
Chad has had a really bad time. That sort of balding spot at the back is getting more pronounced and sunburnt.
It is. Yeah, some of those like roids, pimples are really showing through. He looks like he's not been getting much sleep.
No.
He's been partying it up in the Ville.
Him and Nathan have just been making TikToks.
Oh my God. But no one has anything to say, which I'm like, he did come in like halfway through.
But I also think, you know, I heard you speaking about this in one of your earlier podcasts, that the culture amongst the men makes or breaks a season, and that culture of fear that Joe had established right from the get-go. Usually in these mansplains, we see the men really go to bat for one over the other. And there was just, other than, you know, the men who, like Nugget and Wes, who'd already put their mark and said, no, Ali, you... And even then they're putting it on Ali rather than Joe. No one really wanted to speak up against him or therefore in favour.
True.
Of
because the whole, I think just anyone, everything associated with Ali, people were just like, nope.
Don't want to touch it.
Yeah, don't want to get involved with this. Don't want to piss Ali off. Then, of course, we get Joe. They always save him till last. And it's like Frank starts about the Instagram. Why is there nothing on your Instagram? What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. And then he spirals into a story about an ex, a dog, photos of a dog. What the fuck?
He was clearly still with his ex.
Yeah. And then he lost his phone.
And so was calling her mom and getting the phone. But not, the story didn't check out. And then my favorite part of all of this was Joe trying to be like, well, unlike you toxic guys who call your exes fat bitches, I believe in healthy relationships with my ex. Dude, can you imagine if Ali...
Like, wow.
Can you imagine if Ali made eye contact with an ex, let alone texting him every day?
And then to make matters worse, after that performance, instead of Ali being like, dude, what the fuck's up? She goes, are you okay? She asks him, are you okay? And like comforts him like he's some victim of like group bullying, which I was just like, it's quite foreshadowing, really.
I can't wait for all the post-season exposés as all of the men, now that they're interstate from him, feel like they can speak out.
But like, it should have cut then to like Abby Chatfield in like a detective hat with like red string on a board. And it could have been like, you know, the dog picks the phone. Like, I wanted to get to the bottom of that. I really felt very, like no one finished.
I think because of the ending, like they've dragged him. Clearly in the edit, they have dragged him all season. They've dragged Ali all season.
They sure have.
You know, like no punches were pulled there. So I feel like almost in this last episode, even though we're still not painting them in a positive light, maybe we're not completely going for the jugular.
True. And it's because obviously they're going to end up together and they don't want us to be throwing Rotten Tomatoes. They want us to at least be like, okay, they deserve each other. It's the they deserve each other edit, isn't it?
I agree.
Orcs. Then they have one final party before the big decision. So like you said, so normally this would be dates. So I'm glad we didn't get that. Glad we got everyone back in the match.
Imagine if we had to watch a date of Ali and Joe on a yacht. Like, he's just saying nothing as per usual. She's simping with the world's cheapest haircut. And I can't. Thank you, Binge.
Yeah, we're happy for that. I feel like as well they gave up because like last season was 10 episodes and this one it's just like 9. Yeah, we're done. I was like, thanks.
I love a show that respects its audience.
Oh, totally. Do you know who needs to learn about that is Below Deck.
Oh.
Like at this point, like I love that show, but it's like 20 plus episodes a season, even when nothing's happening. I'm like, guys, come on. Like the filler eps are real.
After personally scarring.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. So Patty and Crystal hang. They have a little pash at the party. Jack is smoothly saying all the right things to Nicole. It's very predictable. And then Chad confronts Ellie about her just like blindly defending Joe at the mansplain. And he's like, yeah, you know, I think I'm giving up. Like, her loyalty obviously lies with Joe. What am I doing here? To which I'm like, absolutely.
And he calls her out for stringing him along.
Yeah, yeah. I was yelling at the screen at this point, like, Chad, run. And then he did. And I was like,
so good. Yes. Well, is this the bit where he's like, you're stringing me along? And she's like, and then Joe struts in.
Joe comes over. He's very good at this. He's got the size.
Always doing this.
He's always pulling the like size intimidation card. Yeah.
And she's just like, oh, well, bye, Chad. Joe's arrived, so I'm getting in his car. And Chad's just like, well, F this.
The whole scene of them making out, like through the window or whatever, with the like ominous music.
Oh my God, this was amazing. This was the highlight of the episode for me.
Yeah.
Was that conversation with Chad, and then she's like, oh, maybe I am stringing him along, but it's just my feelings for Joe have been so deep from the beginning. And then Joe's like, oh, fucking Allie's my girl. And then they're like, behind the macking on through the window. The whole thing was a train wreck.
It was very hard to watch.
It was Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, it fucking was. Then we got Nathan and Nicole having a kiki, and he's like, so you thought about my great offer? I'm like, oh, I'm such a used car salesman at this point. Like, he's really got nothing, because it's just his word, really, and she doesn't actually know. Like, if they had a friendship, if they had a genuine friendship by him being a cool gay and not like a loser, like Toxmas gay, then maybe she would have like gone with it, right?
How did they find one of like 10 gay men in Melbourne that can't build that rapport?
Yeah.
You know, he just...
TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok. That's where they found him. You're so right. He just didn't... He put in nothing. It should have been so easy for him at this point to go full villain. You know, yes, girl, I've fed you all this information. I've turned you against all of this man.
Yeah.
I'm your only safe
Let's get out of
bet.
here and spend the 50K on spicy mugs.
Yeah.
With Amber and the Channel 10 gay intern. Yes, bitch. Like, that's what it should have been.
It should have... And then he snatches all the cash and we'd have all been like, yes.
Yeah. So absolutely. But instead, he's just confusing her more with more deal talk, and then tells us in confessional, I haven't made up my mind yet if I'm going to take the cash on. Do you think he would have taken it all?
Yeah, I don't think he's got the chops to... Well, no, I think he'd split it. I don't think he has the chops to take it all.
No, I think he would have taken it all.
Okay.
I don't think he cared about anyone there.
So, okay, this is where I wanted to talk to you. I've watched pretty much all of the FBoy Island seasons. So this is a light spoiler, people, but I'm not going to tell you which one I'm specifically spoiling. But in a season, an FBoy does take the money at the end.
And that's the
not
only
split.
time that's ever happened.
And in this particular instance, the show turns around and says, FBoys never finish first. We're going to donate the whole 100K to charity.
I have heard about this because the person was so unlikable and great.
Yeah.
That's why I love this show as well. There actually are no actual rules.
Well, I kind of hate it because now I feel like it's set a precedent where the only safe bet where you know as a tool bag that you're going to get the money is if you split it. So we're seeing all of these guys split the cash and then immediately ditch her after the show.
True.
And
that sucks.
I'd rather the TV moment of them taking the full amount of money.
Is there's no way for the girls to take all the cash?
No.
Oh, that kind of sucks for them. I guess they're, I don't know, hopefully getting paid more. Fucking
the appearance fee, yeah.
This show is at the forefront of feminism, so
absolutely.
Yeah.
So no, that's my concern. This is why I'm like, I don't even think Nathan would take all the money because I think he'd get more followers for splitting.
During Joe and Allie's awkward steamy makeout, she's like, "Please don't hurt me."
The biggest eye roll.
And then she's like, I can't keep my hands off you. And she's like, oh, why do we have to be at this fucking party? When she said that bit, I was like, all right, queen. Like, don't worry.
I just can't and I feel really bad for them because, you know, in that moment, she thinks that she's like the main character couple. Everyone's rooting for them.
Ooh,
and it's,
girl.
I know. And they've just been eviscerated online and also by me in this podcast.
Yes. And me also.
Yes.
And all of Reddit. And all of
the
Instagram.
whole universe.
Yeah. Soz girl. And then Chad's like, peace. And he leaves. And she runs after him. And of course, turns it around, makes herself the victim. She goes, guess it's just another one joining the leaving AliExpress.
Okay, her hair is giving AliExpress. So that's a good call.
Yeah. She's very AliExpress. That's her new name.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, she's like, no one ever wants to fight for me. I'm like,
fight for you.
Girl.
Why should they? I don't understand.
You've spent the whole season fighting for Joe, who's not even the hottest guy there, has no personality whatsoever to speak of, is nothing but red flags.
But he was the tallest.
Oh,
literally,
God.
but she's that girl. She literally was just like, he's the tall.
Straight girls are so basic.
They literally are just like, I couldn't possibly be with someone shorter than me. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Good for you.
Thanks. Yeah. It truly was painful. But then they do give Chad his Saltburn moment, which I thought was quite cute. And I thought that was the show being like, we've got you back, Chad.
I loved that. I had a few people messaging me being like, what was that scene all about? And I was like, what are you talking about? That was the best part.
Yeah, it was great.
Him just dancing around.
With his cute little tush out.
And clearly, based on the numbers, as the internet has deduced, he must have been an F-boy. But they don't even do that reveal. They let him dance out like he's a nice guy.
Then like some Disney music starts and it's like, and we get Caleb and Crystal. Caleb is packing up the bar and Crystal waltzes over in her gown and she's like, oh, you closing up the bar, are you? And he's like, yeah. I know that good pussy's waiting for me out there somewhere. And that's the end. I was like, what the fuck?
Not a throwback to the bad pussy incident.
They literally just like had him hit there for that line.
Yes.
And I'm like, kind of like, go off. But also, yeah. And then that was when I knew, okay, this is them wrapping it up, which was a shame.
So disappointing.
Yeah. Because they could have at least left it open so that we didn't know if he was going to walk back in. But the way they left it there, it was very much like, see ya.
Yeah. End scene. Caleb's out.
Yeah. Oh, I hope he gets what.
He needs to come back again. Like,
Bring him
any
back.
excuse.
Yeah.
There was not a man on this season who had an ounce of his personality.
Yeah. All right. It's the final decision. The girlies are all dolled up. I did like these rhinestone numbers they kept for the finale. They all looked like drag queens walking out. I was like, even Abby looked very
Glitzy.
glitz and glam. Nicole's first. Jack has a shirt on.
Miraculous. Didn't know he had one.
And what did you think of the vanilla speech? So he goes, look, everybody likes vanilla and you would make the sweetest topping. And it cuts to Abby being like, huh?
I didn't expect anything better from him. Again, like she's been obsessed with him since day one. At least she fucked Sean because we love Nicole.
We love that she did that.
We love that she did that. But Jack was there to be there without a shirt on. He was not there for the good one-liners.
Totally. Yeah, that speech was... Yeah. But then, of course, Sean interrupts. But you can tell he's been put up to this and he's not comfortable at all. He's just like, oh, I thought I'd give it one more go. It's like, did ya?
No.
Did you really, Sean?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, honey, no.
She's like, I'm sorry, but I've already spent the last 30 minutes thinking about my end speech and I didn't factor you into it, so see ya.
She pretty much is like, yeah, I'm going to do the thing that I said I was going to do. So and he's like, yeah, just thought I'd, give it another go.
The producer held a gun to my throat.
A tiny gun. It was Amber all along. Oh, but look, he's just such a cute little boy.
I like them as a couple. She's really hot. She has a personality, even if it's, not popping hard like crystals.
No, she grew on me. By the end, I was like, yeah. Especially when she shagged those two guys in the one night, I was like, yes, bitch.
She was great. He is just there to be hot and an accessory in her Instagram pics.
Perfect.
I actually like them as a couple.
Yeah. And Sean would have been a good choice as well because they're kind of interchangeable, but he's got that tradie thing that brings her down a bit.
He seemed kind of toxic and immature and like easily popped. I don't know. Sean gave me
very immature. When he had his little
vibes.
tantrums, the thing about the haircut and the mum I was like,
no.
what?
No.
Yeah, I'm glad he's gone.
No.
So she picks Jack. Woo! And he's a nice guy, which I was like, okay.
Did you not think he was a nice guy?
No, of course I did. But like, I'm being like,
okay.
What a, was anyone surprised?
No, like it happened. No. Like, okay, the Nicole bit happened. When's the exciting stuff coming?
Yeah. Then we get the gay reveal. He's like, I'm gay AF. Oh, Nathan. And then Jerome's like, my gaydar's off. And then Patty goes, oh God, he's seen the Loch Ness Monster so many times.
Did you notice as as well. I think it was like Vincent or someone was like, everyone else was clapping and cheering, and then there was like the two homophobic ones.
I didn't clock. I'm going to go back. I'm going to single out the homophobic. Like, guys, zoom in. Oh, fucking hell. Yeah. So he's a nice guy. They say F-boy. Oh, no, they make Nathan say F-boy, F-boy, which F-boy, F-boy is not
It's
not,
a bad
it's not
line.
catchy.
It's not,
like,
no.
rewrite that one.
Yeah.
Crystal is next. She's stressing. She has no idea what to do. Patty and Doug. And, like, yeah, it's potato, really. Like, come on. You got average
why was she so worked
hunks.
up about this? I think she just felt guilty about ditching Doug when
True.
he was not emotionally, psychologically prepared for
And look, I think she was going to ditch either of them, and it's better to ditch Patty, right? Because the audience hasn't fallen in love with him. So, like, well played, girl.
Yeah.
If that's what you did.
Well, did you read the Pop Sugar article?
Sorry. No, I read the news.com.au article, which was terrible.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
Well, that was a rip-off of the Pop
oh,
Sugar one.
Tell me.
So apparently, they were long distance. So this is the other reason why I was always like, she's going to end up with
Oh,
Caleb.
Adelaide and the Gold Coast.
I think wasn't she in London? She came to London.
She's
Anyway,
in the GC. Anyway.
maybe. Anyway, he basically, she's like, he revealed his F-boy tendencies immediately, was fucking around.
Yeah, right.
And then she was like, I wanted to make it work. And Patty was like, no.
Oh,
so
there you go.
I think she got after that the humiliation of hooking up with this dude to then get ditched by him. It's a no for me.
Yeah. Well, we're glad they're not together anymore. But yeah, Doug is devastated.
Oh, he was so angry and crying.
Doug immediately reveals. He's like, I'm a nice guy, which I'm like, excuse me, he's supposed to wait. Abby would have been so pissed off. He just did it. He's like, I poured my heart out for you. He's very heartbroken. He looks like a very sad, lost toddler. And I was there going like, sorry, I just wasn't, especially like back end of the season, I just was not vibing with him.
That scene where they're like eating the sausage and then they're
The
making...
sausage was the turning point.
It was nightmare fuel. I'll never recover from it.
Yeah.
And then he's giving her the little bracelets. Like it was very, he's a small child.
Yes.
And she's a grown up having sex with this toddler. And I was just like, why is anyone letting this happen? Let alone, why are some crazies on the internet rooting for this to happen?
Ali looks pissed. She doesn't like the odds. She's got one guy left. I love that she didn't get to make. I love that Chad robbed her of the theater of making a choice. Like,
too.
fuck yes.
Yes.
So good. It's like Girl Too Late. And Joe's speech, what do you think? He's like, look, everyone, you've all doubted me. You've all doubted me. But you know what? At the end of the day, money is money. We all love it. You love it. Don't pretend you don't love it. And at this point, I'm like, oh, cool. So this is
thank
this is the
goodness.
part where he says he's a
The
fuckboy.
redeeming moment.
Finally. And then he's like, but I don't care about money because I'm a nice guy. I was like, oh, fuck this show.
Yeah, that was this was the letdown moment. I mean, we all kind of suspected that he would be a self-proclaimed nice
Yes.
guy. That the meta message of the show was, don't trust men who say they're nice guys.
The show should have intervened here and they should have said, well, we're actually changing that after your behavior or something. Like, that should be a way they do that. I don't know. Or something.
Or like a zoom in on Abby's face of her being like, ugh.
Like, so tinfoil hats on. We never found out about Chad's status because he walked out. Do you think there's a chance they did a switcheroo? Because we'll never know.
I think Chad was an F-boy.
Okay.
I can...
Because he's a stripper in Vegas?
Just because he was fun.
I thought the storyline was going to be you, audience member, thought because he's a stripper that he was an F-boy, but how horrible are your biases? He's actually lovely. That's what I thought it was going to be.
I would have liked that. Okay, the reason why I would love that conspiracy to be true, but the reason why I don't think it is that I think the producers would want, after someone being so obnoxious and hated all season, to be able to be like, yeah, and you're an F-boy piece of shit. Do you know what I mean? And then,
Yeah.
and he still picked Ali. Oh, that's great. But don't forget you're a dirty F-boy. Because they love talking about how you're a self-proclaimed F-boy, therefore, you know, you're a fundamentally bad human being.
True. Look, we're never going to know.
We're never going to know. But Pop Sugar article...
Oh, I've got to go check it out.
This man is still like they are on the PR tour of their life. See, I reckon, this is my conspiracy, he was still with his ex, and because he's having to do his PR spiel to recover and not dump her straight away. It's been 6 months post-filming. They're still together. They're saying that they're a super happy couple and they're going to be together forever and they're going to move in together. And he's like, she's the woman I'm going to marry. And watching the show back, I've realized I need to be a better man for her, blah, blah, blah. Like, obviously fake as hell. Give it another few months. They're going to break up due to irreconcilable differences. I reckon this is an agreement to not make them both look bad.
I can't wait for the NDAs to expire. Oh, Annabelle, what a pleasure. What a delight.
So much fun.
So much fun. To paraphrase you, what have you got going on and where can people find you?
I am booked and busy. You can find me over at Babes on the Brink.
Oh, and it's so good.
Oh,
I
babe.
love Babes on the Brink.
Where I'm with Chili Philly from Australian Survivor. We are currently covering the Traitors Canada Season 2. I'm also intermittently covering Survivor 47 with Mark Warnock on Babes on the Brink.
Which, can I just say, that first ep, like, obsessed. I love you and Mark together. It's so cute. Mark is a delight. You, like, educating him on, like, you know, cool girl stuff. I'm like so down.
I told her, he's like, I'm so glad you explained what a Twinkie is
Yeah,
to me.
yeah,
I'm like, okay, babe, it's not a Twinkie, but okay.
Yeah. Like, I love you and, like, Phil as well, obviously, but it's like nice to have you and a straight man. So cute. Oh.
So fun. And you can find me Instagram and Twitter at Annabel CE.
Yeah. All
Thank
right,
you.
let's go get a spicy mug.
Woo!
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to The Cringe is Real with me, Sam Creman. If you would like to support the show, rate, review, share, and tell your friends about it. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter. Links are in the show notes.